The Forbidden City. It was a long time ago, long ago. Like I said, there are lots of things I did back in the old days. The old honey ships, basically. Females, manning a ship, and they would carry these beehives up rivers and stuff like that, and they would sell honey. And they were women, and they had a pretty good time, really. I mean, because women got men always like women, so I had all these honey ships running around, and they were women, all female crews basically, and they got along just fine. And they would go around, and they would sell honey and sweet treats and stuff like that. And and they also had a couple men with them, of course, too, because men always tried to climb on them basically, and the other guys would beat them off and all that. Anyway, for quite a while, actually, they cruised around, and they would cruise up the little things, and they would leave the beehives, and then they would go back to the ships or whatever. And the beehives would sit out there for 2 or 3 days, and they would pollinate whole areas. Anyway, like I said, LS Manufacturing, Lucifer Star, basically. I was quite a person. I was an inventor for years, inventing for my life forms, inventing for other things. I invented cannons and guns and all kinds of different things, battleships and cars and engines and trains and steam power stuff and mining equipment and just about everything. So anyway, so I one time I thought, let's build a palace or something. I like to build palaces, like bunkers and palaces, my two favorite things. I would always build a nice house every now and then. I'd like, build me a house, sure. I'll build a house. Anyway, I'd pay like, because I ran the government and I basically owned the whole country pretty much. I'd just been in existence forever, so I'd have all this money. So it's like, well, let's build a palace or something. So the first Forbidden City, or at least the city, is basically a government center, and it says it in the records how it's a government center, and that was because I was having my managers live there, and there's actually Germans and English people there, and that's another reason why it was Forbidden City, because I didn't want other people to go in there, and because if people found out who was there, they would start to fuss. And then, like I say, later on, some black people went in there and they tried to get in there and they tried to run the Chinese Empire from inside the Forbidden City. It's like, I don't think so. So anyway, they're trying to do this black on whatever, and they're trying to take over the world using the Chinese Empire or something like that. I don't know, like getting elected as the Chinese emperor or something, or just forcing their way in. Anyway, though, I'm pretty sure somebody carved them out pretty much. There were a problem. It was Mr. Brown and Mr. Black or whatever, and like some Bloods and Crips or whatever. As if Nixon and Kennedy wasn't bad enough. These other people were just as bad. And they're trying to start wars and stuff like that. Sometime, between 1920 and 1940 or whatever. Anyway, though, they're trying to pay them or something like that, or I don't know. Anyway, though, but like I say, I do have I do have armies, quite a few armies. British armies, German armies, Irish armies, all my groups have defense, because all my groups have been attacked by one person or another outsider or somebody at one point in time. Like I say, if you have something worth owning or worth having, somebody always wants it. So, like I said, Mr. Brown and Mr. Black, they were making a mess of Belfast, and it's just one of those things. It's only a matter of time before somebody's going to get a gun and decide to go and kill you and everyone you care about, and also take over the country or whatever. Anyway, so a lot of these people were running around finding all my different little sites, and fortunately, like I always had like local armies and armies. So, and some of the battles were rather intense, as JFK or Nixon, or somebody basically, tried to kill all my people or all my workers. But I also have other people, which dealt with those people, because guns are everywhere, and they can shoot back too. So anyway, so all this happens everything's fine until about 1800, and then after that things start getting all bad, and somewhere around 1900 things get really bad, and a lot of my groups find themselves basically in hand-to-hand or armed combat, basically. Like I say, my people have the home turf advantage and home front, but there are other people that, they don't really care about any laws or any rules, or they don't care who was there before. They're just going to, and they don't even, like a lot of these people, a lot of these places, they go there and they shoot up the place, and then they leave. and they're only there for like 3 or 4 days or a week, and then they steal everything and just go. And this has been going on since like 1800. Like they do this. It's quite a few of the different sites. They just go after the gold and the money. It's like, what are you gonna do with the gold? You can't eat it. Like, I mean, they're just killing people and raping basically. Anyway, they're running around all over civilization pretty much. While I'm just kicking it as a child, and they're making a mess. Shooting people, shooting first. Because they know my people aren't going to shoot first, but my people do shoot back. So, and my people are usually very highly trained and very very good at it. Like I say, mostly it's Japan and China, which they're really 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 good at defending themselves. But at some point in time they do surrender, but then they kind of get back into power, or get back their weapons, and deal with the situation. Anytime you have money, or anytime you have a car, or anytime you have an aircraft, somebody's going to try and get it. That's just par for the course, and that's something I realized a long time ago. And I've had teams in place, for quite a long time, ever since like the 1800s. And then of course some Yahoo comes in and thinks they can just shoot whoever and then walk away with the stuff. So it's kind of like a normal thing for me, and it's been going on for quite a while. That's why I have forts and bunkers and bases, because that's why I have bases and security and cameras, is because somebody always tries to run the gate to get to the tank, to get to the guns, and they try and run off and then kill a bunch of people and rape a bunch of people. It's been going on since like year 300. It's just a normal thing. So, like I say, Nixon and Jimmy Carter and JFK and all the others, and even Mr. Brown and Mr. Black, they're nothing new, really. I mean, they've been, this stuff has been going on for years and years and years and years. And it's more of a civil defense problem. And in the past, I'd put an army inside of a city, and the army would basically protect the city from everyone else. And basically, the army would only go there because, they're protecting the town. So they would live there and protect the town. Sometimes some army people would get a little rowdy, but, and even try and rape someone. But then the other guys just take care of them. So, anyway, though, it's a normal thing. It's been going on forever. Anyone who owns a country or anyone who runs a company will eventually encounter the situation of the day when that guy just says, fuck it, and just walks through your door with a gun and shoots you in the head. It's just part of it's just part of what was going on. Mr. Brown was no different. He would shoot someone in the head or shoot someone in the back or get a sniper rifle himself and shoot someone, and then try and say he owned it, and that kind of thing. That was Mr. Brown, Mr. Black, Harlem, and Wolf. He just ran around like that. I think eventually he spent like 10 years or 20 years in a bunker, hiding pretty much until he got dug out of there. A lot of people, Germany dug out a lot of people too. They'd be hiding in the mountains in one of my old bunkers, and they would go up there and they'd have to dig them out because, look, there you are. We're going to come in there one way or another. And then Papa's Boy. That's how Papa's Boys went down, basically, and pretty much I think I think Papa's Boys came before Bloods and Crips, and then it was Bloods and Crips, and then and all that. But they were dug out of one of the bunkers. It was like it was my bunker, and I had built it, and it was mine, and he was hiding up in there, and Germany went in there and basically time to die. Because he was causing a problem in the town, of course, and so they had to dig some of his people out of there. So anyway, and they blew it up, and then poured gasoline down there, and then lit them on fire. And I had Chinese in one bunker, and they almost tried to dig those people out too, though. I mean, there's a lot of people, though. I mean, some people were good, some people were bad. It's kind of hard because, well, generally the good people have the tanks and have the weapons. So, I mean, you usually don't get all that far if you're a horrible killer, in a tank. Usually you get taken out by everyone else. So, anyway, yeah.